my scrappy friends, this is Hannah for the Shimmerz YouTube channel today, and I'm going to be making a fall time mixed media layout. And so right now I'm just using some gesso on some plain cardstock. This is a thicker, smooth cardstock. When I'm doing mixed media, I like to use a little bit thicker of a cardstock because I feel like you have a little bit more give to the paper, especially when you're going to be using lots of water or sprays. So I am taking some of the Shimmerz pots. This is Wisteria Lane, and I'm trying something different. I've never tried this before, but I thought, wouldn't it be kind of fun if I could have it look a little bit more sprayed on? And I know I could have gotten this look with one of the sprays, but sometimes I just like the viscosity of the Shimmerz pots as opposed to the sprays. It's a little bit thicker, and of course I'm going to use some water, but I'm going to deal with it a little bit how you would a spray and like an alcohol spray, and I'm just going to add some layers and I'm going to let it just drip. So this is why I'm moving it around. I will say I think my pot is getting a little bit older because there is a little bit more of those shimmer flakes in it. And so I am going to go in with my paintbrush real quick and just kind of try to move some of these around. I think what it is just some of the bigger pieces of the color that is in the pot. Like when you stir it around and then you use your paintbrush, I feel like you don't notice these as much, but I did. Now, one of the colors that I did spray along with the water was the Vibe Snowstorm, and it's just a white color, so it kind of toned this down a little bit, but I really love the color. It's like a mauve purpley color, and yeah. So this is another Shimmerz pot, and this is So Sappy, and so I just did some spray, like sprinkles on the background, and then I am mixing this with some just plain modeling paste. One of the things I like about these shimmer pots is the liquid on the inside is quite thicker. It's a little bit thicker than if you were using the Shimmerz creamies or the inklings, where you have to add a little bit of water to it, and it can mix really well with just modeling paste. And sometimes I just like to do this because I want this color in a modeling paste. And even though I love the Dazzlerz and stuff like that, sometimes I want a specific color. So I knew I was going to use the Heritage collection because I still have a whole bunch of this. And I remembered that I had this purple paper and it reminded me of that background. So I am just going to use that as a border. And the flowers on that paper match really well with the So Sappy. So I will say it's not as shimmery when you mix it with the paste. So just know that. It's a little bit more matte. But it dries really nicely and just like regular paste. So I'm thinking I want something on the side. You can't really see the layout at this point. So I'm going to get some patterns. I have this white that's more distressed, and that is Heidi Swap. And then I'm going to use some Maggie Holmes, or I don't know if it's Maggie Holmes, the Sunny Days collection that came out last year. It had this really fun black and white stripe, and so I'm going to get that. I also know I'm going to use the vellum, but I want these to be like a strip that goes across the one side, and I'm going to use my sewing machine and sew all up in a minute. I'm actually going to sew some leaves in with my sewing, and I'm just using a zigzag stitch, so in a few places on there. So in a minute you're going to see that. And at first I thought, hey, do I want the vellum to kind of go over the media? But then I decided I really didn't want it to cover up. I mean, it's not very complicated media, which is stuff that I like. sometimes I will do really complicated, and I love splatters. And I will say that's one thing that I feel like is kind of missing, and I could have did that, but I decided to play a little bit with the new Dazzlerz Foilz that we have in the shop. And so I'm going to do some stuff with that. And I did think about maybe doing some bigger dots with that or something, but I also didn't want to take away from the stars. So I am going to glue the rest of this down really well. I didn't glue the other side where I sewed because otherwise it'll gunk up my machine. And so these colors are similar. And then I have this picture. Now, obviously my picture has nothing to do with flowers, but I thought it needed some flower or like leaf petals. This is a picture of homemade gluten-free banana bread, and I cut the banana in half and then put it inside the batter with those big chocolate chips. And oh my gosh, it was so good. So perfect for that beginning part of the summer, or not the summer, the fall time. This was like early September when I made this. So it was really, really good. I think it was one of the better banana breads that I've had. So now I'm just gonna try to find some papers to match. And like I said, most of these are going to be from that Heritage collection, but I do mix in a little bit of Felicity Jane that I have. I have a few scraps of that. I've been using it a lot. And I'm just gonna build some layers because it's one of the things that I love to do is build layers. And I'm going to try to incorporate the colors, those purples and those yellows. So I really feel like those are a fun fall combo to mix. It's kind of non-traditional, or it's becoming more traditional because a lot more people are using those colors. But for a long time, purple wasn't really very fall-like, but I really like it. It kind of brightens it up and pairs really nicely with that like mustard, that So Sappy color. I mean, really, it was perfect. So I did cut a border on with one of my pattern papers, so I'm going to add in that blue. In the pattern paper with the flowers, there is a little bit of hint of blue. I'm not really going to add that much to my layers. I am going to add some vellum, and this is going to add a light layer. So you get to have a layer, but you can see through it, and so it just kind of looks texturally nice. I'm also going to use that tag, but I do kind of have a hard time with the tag because I don't want such a long tag. And so I kind of I play around with this, and then I tear it, and then I realize later that it really didn't matter if I tore it or cut it because I'm going to cover it all up, but that's okay. And I do play around as I start adding all these layers and trying to figure out exactly how I want them to look. I feel like a lot of times you just have to fidget with it and just find where you think looks nice for you. And definitely layering takes a little bit of practice, but it's really just about having fun and letting just little peaks of these colors kind of come through on that are in your background, but then on in your photos and stuff like that. So definitely super fun. So I know in a little bit I'm gonna get some ephemera pieces out because I knew I had some tags. So I do kind of go a little tag crazy on here, and I don't know. I wasn't planning on it when I first originally started this, but that's okay. Sometimes I just let things go, and I just go with it, and I don't really have a whole lot of a plan, and I just like doing what feels right. So this is where I find two tags, a yellow and a purple one. So I am gonna fussy cut the purple one out. It's not done, but you won't see that. So, and so now I'm trying to figure out how I want these tags all on here. And I do play around with exactly where I end up. And I end up using these vellum leaf things. And I feel like I had a hard time once I added these, though I do like the way that it looks. It adds just a little bit more vellum in there, but I had a hard time layering it so that it looked well. I think it would have looked a little bit better if maybe I only used one and then I could have had it straight, but I don't mind that it's crooked and like a little cockeyed. Like that doesn't bother me. But I just feel like as I'm watching myself play with this, where I end up putting the tag, I don't like it. I think I like that manila tag a little bit other places, but you know, I mean, I could go back and change it, but I won't. I'm not one of those people. Are you guys one of those people that like, if you look at something later and you don't like it, that you'll change it? Because I definitely won't. I figure, you know, there's another layout that I can do that on. And plus, once I really adhere this. Now, I like to use ATG, but sometimes I will find that when you use a lot of gesso, so I didn't say this, but the gesso that I used was the Prima gesso, and it's the heavy one, and it is smooth. It is unlike Liquitex. So I know like some people use Liquitex, some people don't. I like the Prima one, and I've also used Dina Wakley, and I like that too. I don't like it when they're gritty. I just find that like, I don't know, I just don't like the way that that looks. Though on this you probably wouldn't have noticed because of all the little flecks of shimmery stuff that was in the shimmer pot. So now I'm trying to find a couple more things that I can add, and I realized I had these little die cut Felicity Jane papered leaves, and they're really tiny, and I'm gonna add some of these too. Like I said, I know that the leaves really have absolutely nothing to do with my layout or like the picture, but I'm okay with that because this is a fall one, and you know, I feel like having the two different style leaves just kind of adds a little bit of interest. And I am gonna use some of these cork stars along with that ampersand, and I will be coloring. Like I'm gonna use some of the foils, the Dazzlerz Foilz on that, and that's gonna add a shimmery aspect to it, and it's a little bit thicker, so I'm hoping that it will really catch really well because it has a different look to it than like when you use the inklings as far as like those metallics. So I'm just going to continue putting these places, and I'm going to use that little clip. And I tried a couple other pieces that I pulled out and didn't use up. But so now I'm going to finish up with some sequins here, and then that's after I do the sequins is when I'll use the foils. So if you didn't know, we have a new product in the store, in the shimmer store, and they are called Dazzlerz Foilz, and there are 3 different colors, and the one that I have is 24 carats, and it's a gold paste. It's super shimmery. Oh my gosh, it is so amazing. Really amazing. I'm really having a lot of fun playing with it, and I'm gonna use it a little bit untraditionally because, which I don't know if there's really a traditional way, but like I said, I am putting these on the cork pieces, but I'm also going and edging around all these leaves and some of the corners, and it's just really fun. I found that it leaves a really translucent, when you put it really thin, it leaves a translucent gold shimmer color, and it is just really pretty. I'm also gonna put some on the edges with like a foam applicator, like a foam sponge, and just kind of go around the edges of my layout. I kind of wish I didn't do it because I feel like I've tried it before on my channel, so I'll make sure I have a link to all the products that I've used and my channel and the Shimmerz store and the blog too. But I find that I think it looks a little bit better when you have media all on the background and then you put it over top of other media. Like it layers really well over top of other Shimmerz products and other things that you do. But I feel like on just the plain white, except for the edges, it looks really awesome on these edges. But once I kind of tried to blend it all in, you'll see. It's kind of hard to see, except for you can see this like edge and it doesn't meet up, and I didn't think it looked that well. Well, I guess it does look okay. So either I would have needed to put it all over the white and I didn't do that, or and I was afraid to go over the stencil and pick up too much of that, but I think it actually layered over top of my stenciling work really well, and it leaves a nice gold shimmer on those stars, but I didn't go over the whole thing. So I think I should have. So just know if you use this like this, you're really going to want to make sure you go over something that already has some kind of media. So now I'm just going to do my title because I thought I was finished and then I remembered, oh yeah, I was going to do a title. So I'm starting off here and then I'm going to move it because I'm like, where do I want to put? Do I want to put banana here? No, because I'm going to just, the title is going to be warm banana bread. Doesn't have to be, you know, I'm not very complicated when it comes to title layouts, titles and stuff. But so I like it on this ampersand. It looks really fun. And so bread is going to be on here. And then I'm going to move warm over to the other side. And I really like it there. But I did leave that tag, that purple tag from the Maggie Holmes like packet thing that has the tags and stuff. So it's like an acetate type of tag. So you do, when you use it, you do have to use like a photo pen or whatever that doesn't smudge. But here are the close-ups. Thank you guys for joining me. Once again, this is Hannah with Shimmerz, and definitely check out the links below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you guys can get notified if you haven't of all of the Shimmer videos that get posted. There are multiple of us on the YouTube team, and we all share stuff that we make with the Shimmerz products, so you guys can have lots of different ideas on how to use your products. I will see you guys later, and I hope you have a great scrappy month. Bye!